Okay, people. So, yo, checked out a new Netflix joint today, right? It is day 8. Yeah, day 8, people. So, it's the new film from Maggie Gyllenhaal. Right? Like, it's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? To see how she has really just blossomed, right? It's she was great in Donnie Darko, right, along with Jake, and yeah, they both had stellar careers since. You know, yeah, but yeah, Maggie has just gone on and she's started to direct. You know what I mean? And yeah, her direction, it's been good, right? I think. Oh gosh, what was the first thing um I saw her in? Actually, her first film was Waterworld, which is crazy. Terrible film, but you know, I guess that definitely sets you in an interesting place to get into things. Um, Gosh, it was. Oh man, it was. I swear it was at the film festival a few years back. She was a school teacher. Oh fuck! What was this film? Um. Oh man, kindergarten teacher. Yes, 2018. That was it. And I do believe she did direct that. I think she did. Oh no, no, she just produced it. Just produced it. Huh. Interesting. But yes, anyway, tangent, people, tangent. Um, she directs this film. She also has done the screenplay. Did I say the name? It's The Lost Daughter. The film's The Lost Daughter. Don't know if I said the name of the film. God damn. I'm just gonna forget everything one day. But yes, The Lost Daughter, Maggie Gyllenhaal, she directs, she writes, well, she adapts because it is based on the book from Elena Ferrante. So she also produces along with Charlie Doffman, Ozat Handelsman Karen, and Talia Kleinhandler. Cinematography is Helena Louvart. It's edited by Alfonso Goncalves. The music is from Dickon Hinchcliffe. And the cast. Oh, it is definitely a very good cast, people. So, yeah, we have Olivia Colman as leader. Jesse Buckley plays a younger leader. We have Dakota Johnson as Nina. We have Peter Sarsgaard as Professor Hardy. I love it. I love it. I love it. Whew. Oliver Jackson-Cohen plays Tony. That's the husband of Nina. We have Will, who's played by Paul Mescal. That's Leader's husband. Lyle, he's the caretaker. He's played by Ed Harris. Gotta say, Ed Harris does. I feel Ed Harris looks like an older Woody Harrelson. Do you think that? I don't know. It kind of struck me today. I might be wrong, but I don't know, people. We have Callie, who is related to Nina. She's played by Dagmara Domamichkik. Jack Farvin plays Joe. He's a waiter. Yeah, a waiter at the resort. Um, yeah, that's our main cast, I believe. Yeah, I think that's the majority of everyone. Um, I mean, there's yeah, no, I think that's kind of basically it. You know, like Nina's family is huge. There's a lot of them, but we don't really get introduced to them, to be honest with you. Um, so yes, that is that's that crew. Um, and the gist of the story. Well, leader is a woman nearing 50, luxuriating alone in a quiet seaside spot in Greece when a brash American family arrives. She's disturbed by their presumptuous and aggressive, if crossed, takeover of the beach. Yes. But fascinated by a stunning young mum amongst them with a clingy child. What I mean, just a child, really. I mean, you see most kids that age, they pretty much act the same. You know what I mean? Um, when the daughter momentarily gets lost, the two women connect. It's a simple encounter, but below the surface lies a tangled, messy human tale of how some women don't relish motherhood. So this is it's really interesting, right? It's weird because it opens up, and I've got to say, a lot of films in this festival, and just a lot of films of late in general, like to open up with either a scene from the end or something midway through or towards the end, right? I don't know why that seems to be this new thing, but that's what's happening. So we open up with it's nighttime, a woman staggering, and then just seems to collapse on the beach. You know, waves washing over, her, and you're just like, oh, oh no, what's just happened? Right? This is not good. So yes, that happens, right? And yeah, you as I said, you're a little bit taken aback. Then we jump and we have someone driving a car. We don't really see them properly, but you can assume it is you know leader, right? So that we see that take place. Now she gets to this resort, looking around. You know, she's shown this room, and it's a kind of a weird encounter with Lyle. He kind of sticks around a bit too long. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones, right? So then you know, she's in this space on her own. You kind of feel that she's a little bit reserved, right? So she goes to the beach, and we see her on the beach. We see her swimming. There are some weird underwater shots. I wasn't quite sure, like, well, what you know, why those shots, man? They, yeah, see, focusing on certain things, and you're like, I mean, it's odd, odd. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, you got a sense, is this looking at the the sexuality of an older woman, maybe, right? But I don't know. But it's yeah, we you know, we kind of go on, right? We move on, and yeah, we see her on the beach and stuff like that. And again, we have this weird encounter with her and Will, right? He she's sitting, he's like, "Oh, you're in the sun, let me move you." And she's like, I think everything's fine. But yeah, he moves her into the shade. So this happens, but then this group, this huge group, but you can see, right? She obviously wanted to be on this quiet, nice, chilled break. She always refers it to as a working holiday. But yeah, this brash, noisy family arrive, and what she was hoping to be, this quiet affair. Oh, it's not going to be it's definitely not going to be a quiet affair, people. You could yeah, you can bet on that. So we now are kind of on this weird balance, this confrontation between her and this family, right? They, I mean, she keeps on glancing over at them, just like ugh. But she is caught by Nina and her daughter, right? And then Callie comes over and it's like, oh, there's a seat a bit further up. Would you? I don't think she even says, "Would you mind?" She's like, "Oh, could you move so we can all be together?" And Leader's just like, "Nah, nah, not gonna do that." And it's all a little bit like, oh, it all becomes a bit of a weird standoff. Things are said more from the younger members of the family, right? But no one kind of calls them into check. So this happens, and so you're just like, oh, what's happening here? Then, as mentioned, Nina's daughter goes missing, and Leader, she helps with the search, and this kind of brings them together. Now, what's interesting is, right, because this is what we're seeing so far, which feels kind of just like your average film, right? Nothing overly spectacular. You know what I mean? It's just this thing. But it's as she's looking at Nina, when she's stealing these glances at Nina, and then she helps find her daughter, we start to then get these flashes back to Leader's past. And this is when the film truly, I think, finds its stride, right? Because we're looking at a younger Leader, as she's first kind of in a relationship with Will, the beginning of their marriage, then they have their kids. And it's like, you can see he's over the moon. He loves the fact that you've got these kids, but they're both got careers, right? She wants to be this Italian scholar, and he's, I forget, I'm not quite sure if we actually know what he does. He's some sort of scholar as well, in education or something like that, right? So it's like she you can see she loves her daughters, right? But it's when they're playing up, right? Because I think there's a lot of things people love until it gets difficult, and then it's just like, "Oosh, oosh." You always hear people be like, "Oh, I love being an aunt, or I love being an uncle," because you get to give them back, right? But parents, you don't get to give anything back here. So it's you see her getting more and more frustrated, right? There's a scene where she's doing her work, Will's on the phone, she's got headphones on, and he's like trying to, he's tapping him. He's like, I'm on the phone. Just and she's got a head, and he's like, and she moves him aside, and she hears the kid crying, and she's a bit like, "Meh," puts headphones back on to go, and he's just like, I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone. He's just like, so you get them. They're your kids too, right? Which, to be fair, it's not the most outlandish remarks, right? Because yeah, these things are shared, but you would think maybe someone on the phone, you'd be like, all right, I'll take care of this, right? But it's just, yeah, these things, and we see this frustration she has with the kids if they do certain things, and kids, they push the barriers, right? They will push you to your limits because they want to know how far they can go. So, and they do stupid, like they'll slap you, pull your hair, you know what I mean? Just things like that. They don't think about certain things, or like understand the consequences of certain things. And sometimes, even when you tell them, they'll still poke that bear a few times. You know what I mean? Until they get burnt. That's what they do. So we see all of this, right? And we see this mounting frustration. Now, I think it's not clear if it's like postnatal depression, or it's just this inability to relate. Because I think you hear about that sometimes, right? Where people just, for a period of time, sometimes for a good while, one parent can't connect with the kids, right? Just can't. Just doesn't seem to work. I mean, eventually it usually does, but yeah, this happens. So yeah, you're not quite sure why. You do get the inkling. I mean, it's referenced. She doesn't have the best of childhoods, right? So there's these things. So this has all happened, and so we're seeing all of this, but then we're seeing that, yeah, again, she loves them. She's in this great relationship with Will, but yeah, there's something that's not quite there. She wants to succeed in her career. And I think this is what's really interesting about the film, right? Because I don't really think we see a lot about parents just not connecting with the kids, right? Not really liking being a parent. If that's ever mentioned, it's, a plot where that person, it shows how bad they are, you know? But it's just, yeah, it is human reality, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you walk to the shops and you see parents with the kids, and they're just like, ugh, they're on the phone, they want to do their things, or you hear them talking and be like, oh yeah, I just want to, fucking kid, ugh, I would, but this fucking kid, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, because people have kids at the weirdest times, right? Or people have kids to try and improve a relationship, or, find themselves. People do some stupid ass shit. They really do. So it makes sense. And I thought it was interesting and good that we looked at this. And, you're looking at, she often says, I'm not really a nice person. I'm not really a nice person. And you kind of think, like, when you see some of the things she does, it's clear that she is, but it's nuanced, right? Because, yeah, I think most people, they're decent, but it's how far are you willing to bend, right? And sometimes you'll bend more for some people or in some instances, and others it's just like, yeah, I ain't bending. You know what I mean? I ain't bending. All right, on the neutral shit, everything gravy, but on this, nah, I'm doing me. And we see her doing her. All right, but when in the present, when she's on this beach, right, we see her in these interactions. We see her. There's a point where she goes for dinner with Will. No, Will, sorry, I'm getting my names mixed up. Will is not her husband. Will is the boy who works in the cafe. No, I forget the name of her husband. But anyway. Yes, she takes Will for dinner, and she talks about her kids, right? And you can see that she really loves her kids, but then she talks about how it's like taking a part of her, right? Imprinting and being the complete opposite. And it's some of the references and the way she, I mean, talks about them, right? And how they are to her. It's interesting, right? It is definitely interesting, but that's all she can talk about, so you could definitely see, right? There is that thing, there is that bond, there is that love. So yeah, I found that very interesting because we see that, but yeah, then certain things happen and that forces these memories to the surface, and then we go back in time and we see these events, right? And we see some of the things she's done, right? Some of the things she's done, which she's not, well, like she looks at it as not as much a regret, but it was a thing that happened, and it's just like, it wasn't the best, but it was a great time, which again, interesting. Because I think a lot of times in stuff, people would refer to those things as the worst thing I've ever done. Right, the thing I wish I could take back. But she doesn't come at it like that. So we have this and the way the other characters now, because things get sorted out, and we just see her navigating with this family. Right? Now Nina seems to be the one she bonds with the most. At first you think her and Callie might be cool, but that's a bit weird. But yeah, these things go. Now, I think you do wonder if it's going to take it in a certain romantic way in a few different directions. And I am very pleased it doesn't do the obvious here, which is good. Doesn't do the obvious. But it does show someone that's really living on the edge, right? Because she does a thing and it's like, oh, are you gonna hide this? And she kind of does, but then other times she's really just dangling it out there. And it's just like, fuck, like, what the fuck is happening here? This is kind of crazy, right? Now, I did think it's a bit odd at the end with something she says where didn't need to say it, right? And you wonder why would you say it? Because she's not an idiot. So she must understand what might happen. So I thought that was a little odd. And I would say it's her husband doesn't really get a shake of the dice in this. Now, obviously, the film is about her, and I have no issue with the film being about her and her being the main focus, because that is very compelling. But it's, you remember Pursuit of Happiness, right? And you have Will Smith taking the kid and doing all of this, but you never really see the mother. I mean, we meet her a couple of times, I believe, in the film, but it's just like you never understand, why is she cool with him having the kid sleeping rough, right? It was just sort of a bit like, what? What the fuck? Like, how is she not fighting to get that kid back off of him or anything like that? It was weird. And I think this you kind of see the husband a few times, and again, look, we don't fully know, but there's a couple of things that show his character. He seemed to be open, seems to be nice, caring, and then a bit later on, right, he is looking to sort something out, but yeah, that's it. We don't really see anything else, right? And I think there are some things that could have maybe enriched the story just with a slight little kind of input on how he related to, right? But I will say that's a nitty pick, right? It's a nitty pick because on with even with that situation being a little bit murky murks, it's still a super compelling film. It really is. As I said, you watch it, you're starting off and you're like, okay, it's fine. And suddenly it becomes this other thing, right? It's like looking at the surface of a body of water, looking at the surface, and it just looks like it's just an open lot of water, nothing's happening. And then suddenly you dive your head under, and suddenly you're seeing all these fish and animal life and coral and all this other stuff. And you're like, yo, I don't know this was here. Yo, what's going on? Right? And that's this film. On the surface, it seemed one thing, but then it becomes this rich tapestry of story. So yeah, people. The last daughter is super interesting. Super interesting. And I would say, yeah, wanna check it out. Now, when can you check it out? Well, people, it will be showing tomorrow, right? At the Royal Festival Hall, right? You might have missed it at the festival hall today and thought, damn. Well, it's showing tomorrow, Thursday the 14th. It's a midday one, though. It's 11:30 a.m., people. Right now, if you can't do that one, it is showing again midday, but on Saturday the 16th at 2:50. This time at BFI South Bank NFT1. That is showing it sold out, but as I've said before, right, turn up because it could be there on the day, right? You know how this works. People return tickets, all that jazz. And then, right, if that still doesn't quite work, you can't do those. If you can hold out, right, it's going to be hitting cinemas on a limited release on the 17th of December. And then just before the new year, it's hitting Netflix. The 31st of December, it will be on Netflix. So yeah, there you go, people. There are your opportunities to check out The Lost Daughter. And yeah, I didn't say I definitely do it. It's a very actually, I think this is the directorial debut. I think it might be the directorial feature debut of Maggie Gyllenhaal, and it's a splendid job. I also like, right, there's a piece of music which I forget what it was. Believe it reminded me of, I think it was a Marvin Gaye track, right? And but it's not a Marvin Gaye track. It then becomes something else. But the opening bars just remind me of this Marvin Gaye track. And it just slipped my mind. It slipped, but it's a through piece of music that gets played throughout, and I really enjoy it, and it worked very well with the film. So, people, The Lost Daughter, yeah, go do your thing.